I've been called Unk at least 10 times in the past 8 months. And if anyone doesn't know what Unk means, it's a new slang term that all the Gen Zers, the people on TikTok use, and it's short for uncle, meaning that you're old, you're out of the loop, you don't know the latest trends, you're like a old person. And this is something that I had to, I guess, just infer and look up to even understand the meaning. And yet, I'm only 21 as of a few months ago. And so now I'm considered old for just living in the real world and not living on social media. And so you look at these new words that have emerged over the last year or so, like skibbity, 6'7", tung sahur. I had to look that one up, like what even is that? And anytime I've ever asked about what these words actually mean, I get called Unk. But the thing is, these words don't actually have any meaning. And I used to know all this stuff 5 years ago. I was on TikTok and I was scrolling like all these other people. And I felt like I had to, just to fit in and understand what everyone else was saying. But now I'm not in the loop anymore. And there wasn't just a single moment that changed in my life. It just happened. Life happened. Having a job, going to uni, working. And I looked away just briefly. And yet when I looked up again, the culture had completely moved on. And now I understand what old people mean when they say the people these days, the young kids. And so when I look at these new phrases, these new words like 6'7", tung sahur, skibbity, all this other garbage, it's just stringing these random words and sounds and phrases together, and we just pretend like it's funny, even though it means nothing. That's the problem. It has no meaning, it has no definition. And all of these phrases, these words, they fall under the umbrella of brain rot. And it's in the definition, it's in the name, it's brain rot. And the people who call me Unk, when I ask what does that mean, or any of these situations, they're all fluent in this new language. And it's taking away real time from your life and real attention. And in 6 months, these words won't even exist anymore. Everyone would have forgotten about them. They have a shelf life of 3 months? And so all these new words, they're gonna emerge. You're gonna spend your attention, all your time on these things. And yet in 6 months, your time that you spent on that is gone, as are the words that you learned, all this time that you wasted watching these trends, watching this crap on TikTok. And I'm not saying all of this stuff to look superior. I did it too. Like, I can acknowledge that 5 years ago, this is what I did. I used to scroll too. But actually just think about it and truthfully answer this. Think about what you're looking at and just understand what you're trading your time for. And the ironic part is that my entire life, it revolves around a screen. Whether it's my income, my degree, trading, software business, whatever it is. And yet I have absolutely zero interest in what's on the internet or what's trending. I don't watch any news, I don't scroll. I couldn't tell you what's happening and what's trending. And it's not a flex, it's just where I ended up. And let's say on the rare occasion I open up social media, this is all I see. I see gambling, I see brain rot, and then I see this hypersexualized content, which is just acting as a funnel to go to these subscription sites, if you know what I mean. You know, the website about fans. And so I made this one decision quite a while ago, and it was around what I did when I woke up. And so what I would do is when I wake up, I wouldn't go onto any device, no phone, no laptop, nothing. Just go outside and go out in the morning light. And that there has just improved how I feel tremendously. Like, not only my mental health, but how I actually feel. And another one as well that was draining my life away was just video games. Haven't done that for like 3 or 4 years now. And to be honest, I wish that I had actually stopped sooner with these things like video games when I was younger, because I realize now that I wasted so much of my youth just mindlessly doing something that amounted to nothing. And now just living in the real world has been so much better. The real experiences, the real people, the real dopamine, just living and being a human and appreciating the world for how it is has just been so incredible. And it sounds so obvious, but just try it. So I'm not telling you to go and delete all the apps. You can still use them, but if you're going to do it in a controlled manner. Don't waste all your time scrolling on social media, looking at stuff that really doesn't matter in your life. It has no impact. You really don't need to be watching it. And just ask this honest question for yourself, right? How much of it will actually matter in 5 years? I already made you think about it earlier, but how much of this social media stuff will actually have any meaning in your life in 5 years? All this stuff you watch, the phrases and the trends that you learn, what relevancy will it actually have? Instead of spending your time on social media, you should go and develop some good habits, because this attention culture gives you absolutely nothing back. Like, don't become 25 and have absolutely nothing to show for it because you wasted all this time on a screen, not living in the real world. And so the scope of these things isn't just with social media and these brain rot terms. It comes to all this short, quick dopamine, right? Like, you know that website I'm talking about, the one with the drums and the yellow and black logo, you know what I'm talking about. Or like a lot of the stuff now that I see on social media, and it's becoming so normalized, is online gambling. And it's become so normalized, and I didn't really realize how bad it was until I saw some of my peers, people of my age, they actually do it. I thought it was just like an online thing that people didn't actually do. No, people actually go and sign up for these websites. And so when we think of that black and yellow website, I think of social media, and then I think of this gambling. It's all just this cheap dopamine that you don't actually get anything from. You're not going to feel fulfilled afterwards. You're just going to feel empty because nothing about it is real. It's so artificial. There's nothing about it where you're existing in the real world. And so if you just went out for a walk and you saw the world, you'd realize that it's not as dull as you think once you quit these things. And there's a certain age where I think people finally start to realize it's, I guess, when you finally leave that comfort, that same routine, like whether it be school or university, you get out into the real world. And so for some, it might be when they're 15, some it might be when they're 18, for some when they're 25, or some maybe never. And I guess it just takes this one moment in your life where you realize that what other option is there other than to actually build and improve your life? There's only so long that you can sit around not actually progressing, right? And if you're not evolving in this sense, you're just going backwards. And that's truly what I'm actively trying to avoid growing up and not actually knowing anything about the world, because I've lived in this digital bubble. And that's what I did when I was younger. And so that's what I'm avoiding. And I'm not avoiding being unk. I'm not avoiding being out of the loop. I'm just avoiding this emptiness. And maybe now you'll know what 6-7 is, maybe you won't, maybe you'll look it up, or you're the last person to hear about it like me. But at least when you live your life, you'll know what you did today and what it's actually building toward.